knocked. I almost just forgot German there for a second. What an intro. Anyway, episode, what are we? I've actually forgotten. 27. Yeah. Film dudes, we're back. We've never missed a week. I realized as I was driving into work today, it was like, wow, we've been, up until episode 15, I want to say. Maybe a little bit before then, we were definitely recording like every other week and somehow making it look like we recorded every week. I honestly don't know how I managed that system. I don't think I could figure it out again, but yeah, we record every Saturday night and it goes out the very next day. So I'd say we're doing pretty good. We've had like
Well,
13
we
episodes in
fluctuated
a
in
row.
between Fridays and Sundays. We do one every weekend.
Yeah, it's the weekend,
Yeah.
Whenever we've got time, when Landon's not smashing heads with a group project, and whenever I'm off work, essentially.
Yep. To follow up with the group project for our listener, things are finally on a roll. We're actually in the writing part and putting things on digital paper, adding pixels to digital paper. So
Wait, hold up.
we,
You're just now on the writing part. I thought you would have like written this thing a long time ago because you said you already turned it in, right? And your professor was just like, "Oh yeah, just do like XYZ and change it."
no. Well, of course, with the scientific process, usually the way that it goes is that you go ahead and, well, for this, we had to submit an analysis, or not an
Oh.
analysis, but an abstract of what our project's going to be. And then it had to go in through the symposium, and then we had to wait for the, well, we didn't wait for the acceptance, but we went ahead and started analyzing our stuff, and we just finally finished analyzing all of our stuff. But of course, after you're done analyzing and doing all the experimentation, then you can write the entire paper based off of this is what we were looking for, this is what we found, and write out like the, well, we've been working on the introduction for a while. Somebody else has been doing that, but we've pretty much I've been you know uh managing the job as far as like figuring out what time we can all meet, and then we meet, and then we've been analyzing our data, and I've been the one who's been doing all the clicking on the analyzing of the data and everything like that, and then I was left with the discussion part of our project. So I actually wrote that today. We'll see how it goes, but we were scheduled to meet today, and then it didn't work out for anybody else. So we pushed it back to tomorrow, but we are actually like writing on the poster board for what we are doing,
Oh my god,
and
do you have a trifold for this?
the entire thing's a trifle.
Oh my god. I love how a master's program is using. Is it a Crayola trifold? Can we get a sponsorship from Crayola here?
No, but normally that's the way a scientific paper goes, is that you run the experiment, you collect your data, and then you write about it. So
Yeah,
the
but I
the
would have
final part is
expected
the writing.
something like a PowerPoint or something like Google Slides or not a literal trifold that's like up on a table and you're like, "This is my wax museum presentation from middle school."
Yeah, well, science.
Oh my god. Okay, well, uh
But we are in the writing stage, which is the final part. So now it's just like putting everything on paper.
I love how film school, it's like you do all this, you essentially start writing and then you do your research.
Yeah, you do your research while you're writing,
Yeah.
but in science, you do your research and then you write about it.
That's very true. That's usually how it should go.
Yeah, because normally when I wrote a film paper, it was, oh, this is the route that I want to go. And then I would like do it as I write, and then I'd be like, oh, well, let's research this. Let's do this. Let's look at this. Oh, yeah, I can use this. I'm going to put that in my paper. Boom, 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 boom. Whereas with this, it's like we had to flush out because I mean it's an investigative experiment, so we kind of had to see where it went before we
What's
could
your
actually.
sample size to validate the validity of the validation?
Uh, well, we used 19 sets of data, but
Oh god, I remember one of the
You
film classes I had to do was like the new media in society, and we had to do like field research and do questionnaires and stuff. And it was like, oh, your sample size isn't big enough. And it's like, yeah, well, I can't fucking send this out to everyone in the world. Like you said, you had to be within the film department, and no one wants to fucking respond to it.
hmm.
Well, there's me adding,
yeah.
what was that, three tokens to the swear jar? Because, yeah, I
Yep.
forgot to mention, we,
Yep.
uh, we kind of have a self imposed rule now.
Yep.
We're trying
Yeah,
very hard not to swear here on this episode.
we're gonna keep
Exactly.
it clean.
Yes, I have three, maybe four big pieces of news here. Starting with one, episode four of Hell of a Boss is out, and I was very excited, so we'll talk about that in a second. Two, the project with Kay is moving forward. Oh, and actually, we can do a little discussion of it live, well, semi live. How do I copy this? Copy that, and we'll post it in the Discord here. Your doodle came through here, Landon.
Okay, what'd you do to me?
Well, it's not what I did. It's what Kay did.
Okay, well that's why I said okay. What'd you do to me?
Oh.
Yeah. What?
I get it.
No,
I
I
mean,
was
she's
kind of
seen me
worrying
enough
there.
times in class to know what I'm about. I
Yeah.
that is a nice looking butt though.
So yeah, I will post that on Twitter shortly. Um, I've been
Oh, and it
posting
says
on
like
there.
what you see. Oh, I think Kay's flirting with me. Ooh,
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
flattering. I
Kay
love
is
it.
married, right?
I don't care.
You're married.
So,
Yeah, I think we got that
married
whole
people can
rundown
flirt.
last
Just
time.
don't take it any further. But yeah, the whole like what you see, and then it's like my butt. She really captured my essence. I love it.
I think you need to be surrounded by more beer bottles.
I got a
Probably.
beer can in my hand, and
uh,
I got my spare beer behind me. I'm actually doing this at Alex's house.
oh,
So,
nice.
That's
Yeah,
sweet.
so I went over to Landon's on St. Patrick's Day, and we watched. God, I almost just said Reservoir Dogs. Don't know why.
no,
Close.
Boondock Saints. There we go. And for the longest time, if you or Joe or literally anyone was like, "Hey, have you ever seen the Boondock Saints?" and I'm like, "Do you mean the Boondocks on like Cartoon Network late night?" Like that's literally what would always go through my head was like the Boondocks. Joe, don't you dare say anything I have to censor.
I'm not. I am not because a lot of that stuff is so terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
yeah,
It was
there's been
really
a few
funny
times
though.
in
The other day at Munchers at work, this dude came in and it was like literally Uncle Ruckus, and I was just like trying not to laugh for about 10 minutes as I was serving this
You
dude.
were picturing that scene, weren't you?
Yes, I was. We're not going to talk
Oh
about
no.
it, but I was picturing a scene from the Boondocks that involves Uncle Ruckus. But anyway, the Boondock Saints. Yeah, very good film, very fun for St.
Saints.
Patty's Day. Um, Lots of like,
What is your review?
Yeah.
I don't know what my review is because it's weird. It's almost too serious of a film for there to be like the several comedy actors they had. Ah, my internet. Yay. Why?
Yay.
My internet went out. Hello.
Hello. So start over.
Hello.
How would you review it?
Yeah, so my review, I guess we'll just cut and start here. My review is essentially that it's kind of a weird film. It's very good. It's very well made. The shots are great. Usually very good lighting. That's where like a lot of films fail. Is like I can't see what the hell's going on here. Um, and this one was great, but it felt weird because they had, you know, what's his name? Billy? No, not Billy.
Connolly.
It is Billy Connolly.
Yeah, Billy
The
Connolly.
old guy.
I'm thinking of
I was
Michael
born
Connolly, the writer for Bosch. Uh,
Eh,
yeah, they had him. They had what?
Sean Patrick Flannery,
Um,
Norman Reedus, Willem Dafoe.
but they're not all comedy actors. But like they had two or
what's the
three.
one guy's name? Rocco.
Yeah, something
No,
And
Rocco.
and of course you got Ron Jeremy cameo
Oh
there.
my
yeah,
God. Let's
David
talk
Del Rocco,
about
Ron
that.
Jeremy
Let's
cameo.
talk about the fact that Ron Jeremy. Oh, there's gonna be a whole generation that grows up and they're gonna find this episode of Film Dudes and be like, "Who's Ron Jeremy? Let me go to Google Images."
Oh,
Oh my God, that's when he looked somewhat decent too.
Somewhat.
Oh God,
I still don't
the worst
understand
part
that
is that
stuff.
we know
they
who
also
he
had
is.
Charlie the comedian in there too.
Oh God, Ron Jeremy. Wow. Yeah, that's a name I definitely
First
would
time
love
I
to
knew
forget.
who he was oh, which one is it? There's a Day to Remember. They have a music video called oh, which one is it? Oh crap. One sec. It's on
Are you talking
my
about
phone.
Ron Jeremy?
Yeah, Ron Jeremy.
Well,
And
I
he's
definitely
in
grew up in the Ron Jeremy era. I was quite familiar with his work by
Yeah, I
the
feel
age of
like there's
16.
several Ron Jeremy eras though, Landon.
Well, he
oh,
was
that's
still
what it is.
portly, but everybody like said how big he was, and I'm like, oh, that's big.
Which big are we talking about?
Well, I'm sure once he pushed past like the folds of fat around his crotch, it was you know quite.
Oh God.
I'm still trying to keep it PG. I'm not cursing, but
Let's make it
Yeah.
PG-13.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
my Ron Jeremy era was is there was fat hiding the girth
Oh God.
of his member. So if he
No.
was truly big or not, I don't know,
Yeah.
but
No.
he was still pretty portly when I was watching Ron Jeremy films.
Well, when I was introduced to him, it's because
Hold
he was in a
on, let
music
me just
video.
cut that segment out real quick and post that on Twitter.
Go right ahead.
Oh God.
Uh, no, I remembered him from there's a music video, Day to Remember. It's their song, the Plot, the Bomb, the Panhandle. And that's how I found out about Ron Jeremy.
I don't know when I knew about him, but it was definitely like the obvious reasons.
I feel like there
I never
was that
actually saw
one.
anything. The only time I've actually seen him was in Boondock Saints.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But anyway, getting back to Boondock Saints,
Yes, please.
you were saying it's kind of weird because all the comic actors, but it's well done.
Yeah, and it's like they're not. It's not a comedy. Like they have these like. Well, I've never actually seen any of their material, but the only character or the only actor I really knew was Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead. And that's about it. Well, Willem Dafoe, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well,
Um,
when you get a chance, you should check out Billy Connolly's stand-up.
but see, that's the
He's
thing.
Oh
Like
yeah.
pretty.
he, none of the. Well, what was Della Rocco's thing where it was like, yeah, I'm the funny man, I'm the funny guy, whatever. You know, none of the funny guys in this were actually funny.
I'll have a Coke.
Oh, Rocco, yeah.
I think
David
that's just
Delarocco, he said a lot of funny stuff, but it was not supposed to be funny. He was just naturally funny, I
Yeah.
think. Is it
it's
dead?
just the fact.
uh,
Just stuff like that. It's like a very like startled. Yeah, he was just naturally funny throughout the entire thing. But I'd have to say I would put it into like an action comedy.
Yeah.
I would even actually drop the comedy and call it like an action drama.
Uh,
Much comedy. I mean, there's just too many funny parts to not include
I mean, I
comedy.
love how we watched like two-thirds of it, and I had absolutely zero context because it was during St. Patrick's Day, and Alex and his wife were over, and everyone else, the kids were still running around screaming their heads off. And Landon sat there for like the first 45 minutes of the film, just every 5 minutes, hey, shut the fuck up. Stuart's trying to watch the film. So then everyone leaves, and Landon and I just sat there and watched the whole thing finally.
yeah. Uh,
Yeah, I had to do some. Well, I was gonna do some explaining. Lizzie thought that I was being rude and mean to our other guests, and I'm like, well, Stuart had never seen it before, and we've seen it like a million times. Of course, we're gonna talk over it,
I,
but
I would love
you
to
know,
set the
let's
record
be
straight. I
considerate of
love
like the one
Alex.
person who hasn't seen it.
Now that I have met Alex, I think we maybe mentioned him once or twice on the show after the Hot Ones, the very first video Landon posted about that, and Alex screams at his children. Because when I was first introduced to Alex, I was like, ah, yes, the screams at children, Alex. And everyone looked at me like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's actually like a really sweet guy, and he doesn't really yell at kids
he
for any
is
reason.
he
good to
is
know.
hilariously fun to be around, and I definitely want to. Landon, if you can't make an episode, just have Alex sub in for you.
Okay, I'll go see what he's doing. Since I'm in his house right now.
Before you do that, though, I do want to add a couple pieces of news. So, I was working on a independent documentary that was supposed to get off the ground this last Thursday. And as I went to go pick up my subject, I learned that he had a stroke and is now in the hospital. So, if anyone's ever heard of John Paul Jervis, he is a wonderful man. He is 77 years old. Um, he, I don't want to say anything else right now, but, you know, yeah, please go share your thoughts about him on Facebook. I would love to see what people know of him. Because one day at work, he kind of just came into the store. I was wearing like my Wright Brothers T-shirt, and he's like, "Oh, did you know the history of the Wright Brothers?" And we get to talking, and you know, by the time he was ready to leave, I gave him my business card and said, "Please call me. You have a very interesting story to tell, and I would love to interview you." But yeah, I don't want to say too much, that's going to get recorded and broadcast to the mass of 5 people. Joe refreshing the page 3 of those times. uh, but
Wow.
yeah, please go share what you know about him on Facebook or wherever, and like at me or whatever, because I would like to compile a lot of stuff. Very cool dude. Very hidden celebrity who's right here in Lawrence. Um, some of the things I can say is he was hanging around with Bob Dylan before his career went big. He's, dined with the Kennedys several times years ago. He kind of gave Bill Cosby his career from the sounds of things. Like, uh, John Jervis had a slot for a late night talk show, and he's like, nah, I don't really feel like it. Here you go, Bill Cosby. I'll let you go on. Um, yeah, so interesting little twists there. that he's kind of just sort of faded into the background of history, and here I have this amazing opportunity to interview the guy, and so yeah, hoping very much that I can continue this work. Um, but yeah, that was where I was at. So guess I kind of need another job if anyone wants to make a documentary. Uh,
Duty
I've
head,
yeah. Uh,
keeping it PG.
but in other news, earlier than that this week, like around Tuesday, my parents sent me a text message with like this mysterious package that showed up on my doorstep, and inside was an autographed copy of The 24th, the Kevin Wilmot film about the 24th Regiment that like was part of the Houston riots in, I can't remember the date, but the Houston riots, just like
1917.
the 1917.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That's what I thought. I didn't want to throw a random date out there though. So yeah, very, very, very well made film. Um, and I've been dying to get stuff autographed by Wilmot for years. And so for him to just send this out of the blue, it was like, wow, that's awesome. But at the same time, I was like, does he listen to this?
It
Yeah,
wouldn't
that's
surprise me if
crazy.
he's popped in a couple of times and listened to a few episodes.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
um,
seems like the kind of guy who would like want to follow up with some of his students and see what they're up to.
I wish more professors did follow up. That's the whole point, right? You know?
yeah. Of course, you. Yeah, I don't know. Of course, I stay in touch with Basket, but
I try to
that's
stay in touch with some of them, but like for the longest time, I tried to reach out to Wilmot, and he would just never respond. I get that he's a busy dude, but like, you know, I still owe
Well,
him a
maybe that's
drink.
how he made it up to you. He knew that you were reaching out, and he was
But
like, "Oh, well,
he
I
doesn't
haven't
owe
talked
me
to you."
anything. I owe him. Now I owe him double, really.
Well,
you owe
after
him
you make
quite a
it
bit.
big, then you owe him.
That's true. Once I win my golden doorstop. uh, so the Oscars are coming up. That's a nice transition.
Oh yeah.
um, have they ever? I swear, I feel like they've been in February, but is I I heard that they were pushed back, right, this year?
What?
The Oscars.
Uh,
Pushed right back up
I
into
haven't heard it.
culo.
I don't know. Anyway, I saw some of the lists, and I was really surprised to see Anthony Hopkins' name on there because it was like I didn't even know he was out doing stuff this year.
Yeah.
Um, I've only seen
Oh, the
Tenet,
good old hot.
and that's great. A lot of people hated it because they're idiots. They can't follow a
Hated
plot.
what?
Um, so I need to see News of the World. Oh god, I saw Borat too. I think I already talked about that, and I really don't want to remember any more than I have to. Because that movie's disgusting. It's honestly crap. I hate to go out of my way to berate a film. It's not a film. Let me just make that perfectly clear. I feel like I'm the Gordon Ramsay of filmmaking sometimes. And it's. I don't know why it was made. Because I get that filmmakers want to try and convey a message, and sure. But, like, for a group of people who represent a studio to collectively agree to this before, during, and after it was made. And some parts are just so gross. I cannot talk about it. Like, and don't go watch the movie to find out. It's not worth it. Like,
Usually,
my internet. Hello? No.
I
Hello?
I believe that.
hello.
Hi, my
Yeah.
internet cut out again.
Oh, hold on.
You said
You're saying
usually and then you
alimony was probably
disappeared.
involved?
Yeah, I think usually with a film like that, alimony is involved.
I mean,
Uh,
Somebody
yeah.
has to make money, and therefore they're willing to like pour themselves out to a bad film. Like for instance, Rambo: Last Blood. I think that was just
was
purely about alimony.
But like
was
that's
that a bad
different.
movie?
That's still like shot with, the cinematographer and the camera operator actually want to do their jobs well. Borat 2 was just like ugh. Like there's no one word that can describe it. It's just like physical pain when you watch it is the only way you can describe it. Is like, does this hurt? Yes.
Well, maybe you've grown past like the adolescent attractiveness of that
Stupid.
type of humor.
Well, it's half of it. I don't know. It's
I
like
don't
the
know. I mean,
it's
I tried to watch it. I never saw the first one. I did not
yeah,
make it
same.
very far into the second one, and I'm like, you know what? This is shit.
Yeah. The best way to sum it up, everyone hates Shrek. I only like it because it's technically a Spielberg film because it's DreamWorks. Uh, and so it's essentially the adult Shrek. That's the best way I can sum it up. It's
You
full
don't
of
like
toilet humor and just crap that no one really wants to watch, but someone said it was good, so you're gonna go see it, and you are sorely disappointed.
okay.
Yeah.
So
So anyway, it's up for several nominations, including like Best Supporting Actress because of all the weird, gross shit that happened. I guess.
I wouldn't know about that.
Yeah. Don't educate yourself on this one.
I'm
Ignorance
not
is
gonna
truly
find out
bliss.
about it.
Oh, I won't.
Yeah, it was particularly bad. Um, what else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so going back to Hell of a Boss. Joe and I were talking a little bit before then. Landon, you said you still haven't seen any of this.
Nope.
Okay, go educate. Just watch the pilot and episodes 1 and 2, because there's a character in there that's not in the other episodes that I am actually communicating with, and of course I'm like trying to not go insane here while I'm like, oh my god, oh
That's
my
very
god, oh my god.
tough.
Yeah, I've only sent them 2 messages, but I am in talks with one of the voice actors to maybe have them on the show. I'm not directly in contact with them anymore. It's like a third party scheduling thing. And it's been a couple
So
days since I've heard back, but yes, I would love to be able to chat with them. And that's why I kind of want to, it feels like this podcast is free therapy for the three of us sometimes, but you know, it's like having a person over at your house. Every now and then you need to clean up the like 3 month mess that looks like you've had just like a nonstop frat party. Just sweep that all under the rug and start fresh, basically. So I feel like we kind of do need to clean up our image just a teeny tiny bit, because I would like to attract some amount of people to this show.
A certain amount of reputable.
Yeah,
Je ne
well,
sais quoi.
yeah,
Uwe Boll is famous for being just insane. And so, you
yeah,
know,
pretty much.
whatever shtick we can have at some point, that'd be great. I'd love to be able to live off of YouTube money and pay you guys as well. But till that day comes, I think we do need to try to clean up just a little bit here. Um,
Look,
so,
I'm
Joe,
okay
I'm
with that.
particularly looking at you.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say usually I mean, it's not until I'm like super drunk that I fly off the cuff and
I mean,
throw
even when
stuff.
you are super drunk, I feel like it's just who you're with that it depends on what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to gauge my crowd, try to measure up my audience, as it were.
I think it does help to have kids around.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, didn't wasn't that one episode Landon told us he pointed out that his daughter swears?
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
both of my daughters swear, and I always just say, "Hey, language." But at the same time, I'm perfectly okay with my children swearing. Just don't do it.
Well, I know what to title this episode, The Glitchy
And
One.
I've tried to instill that in them. That what at home?
Discord. Come on, Discord. Oh, why? My internet has gone completely out. Hello?
Hi.
Okay, great. This third time's the charm.
Okay. So what I was saying is I really don't get after my kids for swearing. I just try to remind them that it's okay to do it in our house, but it's not okay to do it in front of other kids because you don't know how their parents are going to respond.
Yeah, and when I'm at work, I definitely don't go like, "Welcome to Munchers, dickhead. What can I get for you?" Even though I really want
Exactly.
to sometimes.
Exactly. I mean, there's private words that can be said in a private way, but if you're dealing with other people, you need to respect the fact that maybe they don't talk that way, and therefore, it's like, I mean, Tilly yesterday broke down and said the G damn it word, but
Uh,
and
Go.
and yeah, and I don't get after her because I know where she learned it, and not necessarily me. I mean, I try to curb my tongue, but yeah, Lizzie's pretty liberal with the swear words sometimes, and I can be too.
I actually don't pick up on her at all swearing.
Oh, she does. She does.
you
I
just
mean,
haven't
most
been
of
there
it.
for it then.
I'm not going to say most of it was her, but she's pretty liberal. When she's not around mixed company, she can make a sailor blush.
uh,
Eh, but yeah, it's like as far as GD it, I really don't say that in front of my kids. What I really say is more like, I dropped the F bomb a few times,
yeah.
and then there's like shit. I say that a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah, and see that's what's funny
Um,
is like, you know, for YouTube, it's like how I think all of our videos actually at this point, um, like probably we're not able to monetize all 27 at this point episodes that are out there, um, because we've like sworn so much, and like if you say that it's not made for kids, like I don't think you can monetize it or something. And so it's like
yeah,
it's insane though to know that YouTube started off as a dating website and it grew to whatever that is at this point, this like the blob. um, and you can make money from something that started off as a dating website. Like how crazy is that? To actually stop and think about the world we live in sometimes.
yeah.
It's yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, damn it to hell! That's what I always say in front of the kids. I'm always like, damn it to hell!
Well, that's
Damn you to
essentially.
hell!
I'm pretty sure that that's what GD is supposed to mean, right?
Yeah, but it's more of the Christian friendly way of saying it. Because I mean, you can damn someone to hell without using profanity.
Yeah, but like the whole point of invoking a god to like banish the evil or something like that. That's essentially
Yeah,
how it started.
yeah. Well,
Like
it's
something
probably
or someone has wronged you, and like yeah, over the years it's been diluted to the point where you stub your toe and it's like this table shall burn in the fiery pits.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, I try to keep it more PG and Christian based, even though we're not really giving our children like a Christian upbringing. We, we're kind of on the fence as far as, Lizzie and I. Well, I grew up Catholic and Methodist because my father's Methodist, my mother's Catholic, and Lizzie grew up Catholic, but we're not really strongly tied into any church. So I mean, they've received like baptism, and
They're this
that's
mixed
about
bag
it.
of religion.
Yeah, it pretty much comes down to when they're older and they want to make their own decisions. We're not going to force them into a religion. If they decide that they want to, accept any religion in the future when they're older and able to make a choice for themselves, we will gladly accept that. But we're not going to force them into Catholicism. We're not going to force them to be Methodist or Baptist
I think that's a very healthy way to
Muslim
do
or
it.
Jewish or
Um,
anything. They can make their own decisions when they're older, and we can instill like a little bit of the knowledge of, you know, where they don't end up joining a cult,
Yeah.
yeah.
and let them make that decision for themselves later. And if they
Let's
want
be
to take part
honest.
in it,
A lot of religion is kind of culty if you boil it down to its roots.
yeah, it is.
Uh,
It is. But I mean, as far as like drinking the Kool-Aid or, blowing the head priest or whatever, we,
Okay.
yeah.
we're trying to
Yeah, the
like
whole
instill a little bit of caution with the
Jamestown
religion
thing.
gambit. But if they decide, oh, I want to be this and this is what I believe, then we will happily accept that.
If
But we're not
we're
going to force them into what we grew up with and what we were forced to go through as children. We're just kind of, oh, you want to explore this avenue? Great. If you want if you want to know what I know about that, then we can talk about it.
yeah.
It's like an open conversation as far as religion. If they want to find God, they can find God, and we're not going to deter them from. We're not going to be like, "Oh, God doesn't exist," even though I classify as an agnostic, and Lizzie sometimes says that she's an atheist.
Well, see,
If my kids want to believe in something, I'm willing to support that, but I'm not going to tell them what to believe in.
it's funny. Joe and I earlier today, Joe always kind of jokes about like Satanism or atheists and stuff, but earlier today Joe was like, I just realized I made a big oopsie in the last episode about religion, and so I need to go back and edit that. um, but I kind of truly do take like a Ricky Gervais approach to religion. I was raised sort of Methodist, and it was like with a very chill church and everything. Um,
Mhm.
and I think it's good to have a little knowledge of it so that you don't just walk around running your mouth off like an idiot. Because,
Mhm.
you know, Norse mythology, let's take that for an example. You had for however many thousands of years, or just hundreds of years, whatever
Yeah.
their timeline is, groups of people who truly believed that the world was divided into however many gods there were: God of thunder, God of war, God of whatever, God of anything, basically. And
Yeah.
they were able to split that off, which kind of made more sense to me as I was growing up. And I almost kind of grew into that. But then I think around that time the Avengers started coming out and stuff. And but also, like, how cool is it as well if like mostly the Scandinavian countries, I guess. Uh, well, it's Norse mythology, so I guess Norway. Uh, but
Mr. Geography.
Viking land.
they call it Norse mythology. Like they're willing to admit it's who knows. It's up in the air. Like
Yeah, it's
Well,
considered a mythology,
yeah.
well, that's
like
kind of
Greek mythology.
But I feel like
yeah.
Greek mythology we definitely take a lot more conservatively than Norse mythology, or at least
Yeah.
Western
Well,
culture kind of does in general.
let's put it this way. There's a book I'm reading that, makes the point that, uh, whereas religion says, uh, this is why it is, and more of mythology, it's more of a poetical fantasizing, shall we say? Um, I don't know how did we get on this?
I don't know, but I do have something
Can
else
we
to
go
say
back to
about
film?
this. Is like, since we're still on the subject, and I know a lot of people are probably going to tune out at this point. I'm not here to give you a lecture on what you should and shouldn't believe in. That's for you. You have the freedom of choice. You know, well, literally the freedom to practice whatever religion you want. But growing up
What?
with um, Methodists, it kind of reached the point where you keep going to church Sunday after Sunday, and eventually the story just kind of repeats itself over and over. And so that was one reason I started to get kind of like bored, and it was just like, yeah, okay, Jesus did this. Oh, it's Easter again. He's back. It's Christmas. He's born again. He died. Okay, I'm done. Close the book. The end. And Ricky Gervais joke there, but jokes aside, I think Buddhism is kind of the closest thing that I would like possibly consider believing in at this point, because
But
you know Christianity is all about love thy neighbor. Well, okay, let's talk about the Crusades and how we've fought the Islam and stuff, but Christianity and Islam, you've got one magical dude who can do a bunch of magical things in both of the big like textbooks of each religion, and yet you have the crusades of them fighting over gods and stuff. Buddhism, they say don't be a dick, and they practice what they preach, at least from what I know
okay,
of.
okay, I have to. I know this is the Film Dudes podcast, so I'm really trying to keep it on film, but at the same time,
Well, let's
um,
straight into film. If you haven't seen Norseman
well,
on
let me say this.
Norse, okay, yes,
I
Joe,
mean,
please.
if you want to, you know what? If you want to cut out the whole religion segment, that's probably best. But I'm just gonna say this that um, Buddhism is really a philosophy.
Yeah.
It's not a religion; it's a philosophy that other people made into a religion, and also there's quite a bit of violence perpetrated by Buddhists. Look at Myanmar, or Burma as it's called. And as far as violence being perpetrated by Christians, yes, because guess what? Christians are human beings and they're sinners. And so, yeah, they're going to mess up.
And to keep that in, if you want to watch a Buddhist film, watch Bulletproof Monk.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if you want to watch a good Burmese pirate film, I recommend Rambo.
I mean, you do
Wait,
kind of actually get a taste of a lot of different religions, though, throughout Marvel.
Yeah,
You have to admit it, to tie this back to film. Doctor Strange, you've got like the monks and various Eastern cultures mixed into there. You've got Banner practicing science, and they always talk about going against God and everything there. So yeah, you actually do get kind of a undertone of religion, as much as we all kind of hate to admit that Disney and Marvel teach you something. There we go. We've tied it back to a film podcast.
well, like I said, if you just want to cut out that bit and,
Nope, it's the Snyder cut every week, which means there's no editing. It's just gonna be 4 hours.
it's lazily
yeah.
edited. But I do feel like we did go way over time last week, and of
Yeah.
course my battery is dying now. So
Well, we got 15 minutes left before we've hit an hour, so we're good this time.
okay.
Yeah, it's a weird episode, but there's always gonna be like 5 weird episodes a year, no matter what podcast it is. So
Yeah, the fact that we're consistently plugging away every week, it's hit or miss on
I think
timing.
I think the best podcasts are the rambly ones. Like I used to listen to this one called the Triforce. It was done by the Yogscast, one of my earliest YouTube channels that I followed. And that's kind of what I based this one off of. We've got the three guys here. One of them has kids.
Totally
um,
unscripted.
and yeah, I like to think that we're the Western American equivalent of the Triforce podcast. If the fans ever find this, oh boy, there's gonna be some comments.
Send them to Stuart, not me.
Yeah. They'll just
Yeah.
flood my email, and then I'll be like, wow, I'm actually getting attention for once. Suddenly,
Yeah.
overnight, this video makes enough subscribers and view counts to monetize my entire channel.
Someday.
Someday.
Yeah. But yeah, in other like non-film and just random tech news, I bought a $12 smartwatch at Menards today.
Oh
So
boy.
it's just about charged, and I'll have an update on that one.
Have
Yeah,
fun with
this is
that.
weird.
um, oh, yeah, Lone Wolf and Cub. I watched. I've been reading the manga now. I finished the first book, and I'm like, almost halfway through the second one. Um, I only vaguely remember watching it. There's kind of like the bathhouse scene in the film, um, and the ball versus the sword, like the choice scene where he's like, "Oh, my son, it is time for me to dishonor my family's legacy and whatever, and so if you choose the child's ball, I will kill you, but if you choose the sword, life will be shit, but I will carry you with me as I commit heinous crimes against the shogun." Um, that was in the first book towards the end, but I can't really remember what else happened in the movie. But just that cart, like if you don't know what Lone Wolf and Cub is, it's this awesome. It started out as a manga. It's oh, I had a really good analogy for it, but this like lone samurai who was like the shogun or like the emperor essentially. The like
He was a big cheese.
yeah, he was the assassin, like the
Executioner or something.
yeah, basically the guy who pulled the lever in medieval times, essentially, um, with the black cloth over his head, like in European executioners, for people who would understand this. This is rambling, but yeah,
Rambling.
he was he like chose to dishonor it because he felt that it was like not right what how they were run. Which interestingly, is the Tokugawa clan as the shogunate. So having read Path of the Assassin and like Hattori Hanzo and Ieyasu and Oda Nobunaga, and then you're like Lone Wolf and Cub, and it's like, wait a minute, this takes place with the Tokugawa clan as the shogun, and it's like, oh wait, so it's literally like the other side of everyone's viewpoints. Okay, gotcha. So it does help to have read Path of the Assassin, but so far there's no like connecting storyline. It's just kind of like little snippets of like, oh, he kills this dude. There's kind of some funny dialogue. He kills another dude. There's kind of some funny dialogue. But I love the kid. The kid is like I don't know how old the kid's supposed to be in the beginning, but not
Uh,
old enough to talk apparently, or he's just scarred for life because of all the crazy shit he's seen his dad do. Um, but the kid in the cart, like I remember in the movie, the cart is the cart has to be considered a character. And I'm sure somebody has written a paper out there where they talk about the cart more than they talk about any other character because that cart has far more functionality than a Swiss Army knife. Like they turned it into a ski
yeah.
at one point. They put sleds on it instead of wheels. Knives can pop out of the wheels. He can pull off like the railings and turn them into spears. Like it's insane. And the kid has a lot of like functionality too. Like he'll purposefully let his kid go like pee off a cliff so that he like the kid pees onto some like royal official that the guy was sent to assassinate. The official gets mad, whatever, and runs up. Is like, "Is this your child?" And he's like, "Yes, and I have come to kill you." Yeah, it's just crazy stuff like that, and it's like, man, this is really well done. So yeah, I would highly recommend reading that. Read Path of the Assassin first, for sure, so that you have an understanding of, like, you know, Japan's unification. It kind of is more of a peaceful time in Lone Wolf and Cub. I mean, you do have, like, a bunch of bandits running around killing people still, but
I was gonna say,
yeah, but in comparison, you have, like, a small number of people doing like not so great things rather than entire clans going to war against each other, and that was the whole point of the great unification of Japan with Ieyasu and Hanzo and all those guys. I don't know if Lone Wolf and Cub is historically accurate. Like I'm sure that you know the Tokugawa clan as the shogunate, that's written down throughout history for sure, but like is the story of Lone Wolf and Cub real? Do you know anything about that, Joe?
not to my knowledge, but of course my knowledge is pretty limited still. So,
Like cuz I think I already returned the first book, but it was essentially like this is the story of um one man. I think it's meant to be based on like maybe several people's stories, but I don't know. I'll do more research because I'm only on the second book, and by like halfway through Path of the Assassin, I was already doing quite a bit of Wikipedia reading, so because I was interested enough to educate myself for free this time.
All right. Well, I'm
hopefully,
down to 2%, so I'm gonna start heading off.
Yep. Well, we got like 7 minutes, so anyway,
yep.
we'll cut this short.
Sorry for the shortage.
Well, it's probably better than the
That's
almost 3 hour episode last time.
Yeah, I'm sure a
exactly.
viewer is not gonna enjoy that.
Yeah. Well, um, yeah, Landon, keep me posted on when we can do the hot ones. And Joe and I are still working on our film, so we'll have that announced at some point.
Okay. Well, I'll probably keep you posted on the hot ones. It's probably gonna be like 3 or 4 weeks from now.
Okay.
Uh,
So,
yeah,
like,
I don't know. I'll see what's going on. I mean, I have a test week coming up, and then after that, there's a symposium, and if I get selected to present, then yeah, pretty much right now, my life is just dependent on school. So
yeah.
if I get a free moment, I will definitely bring
Well,
you in circle.
Tuesday, April 20th, 420, uh, it is a Tuesday, and I should be off work the next day, so we could have a nice 420 video there.
That might be fun. We'll figure it out.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm down to one, so
All right. Well,
Uh,
we'll see you.
all right. Later, viewer, listener,
You one person, you.
you one person, you. All right. Bye.
Bye. So, Joe, you want to go for another 5 minutes or wrap it up?
uh, I can keep going.
Well, let's talk about Hell of a Boss then for a bit, because I kind of just like glossed over it a little bit the first time
Yeah,
I
I
mentioned
feel
it.
like I don't know this episode's been something different.
Yeah, we could end on a slightly lighter note.
Yeah, I kind of want to.
So yeah, I discovered Hell of a Boss, and then I made it my life's work to spread the word about our Lord and Savior Vivian Madrino.
Oh, brother.
I mean, I guess you do have to believe in Christianity to be sent to hell so you can meet our favorite spider boy.
Oh boy. Uh,
Uh,
no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, that's wrong.
it is.
No, I'm really. Ooh, I'm feeling kind of sick.
Oh, man. Yeah. It's just been one of those days.
Yeah, I haven't been feeling very good. So,
Well, I guess we'll let Joe go bake a quiche then instead.
yeah. Oh,
Okay. Alright, well, we're wrapping it up early, so thanks for listening, and hopefully we'll have our things in order next episode.
hopefully, yeah.
Just
And
think
we'll
of
be
this.
talking just about film. So,
Yeah, just think of this episode as filler, and we can all move on with our lives.
yeah, please.
Yep. Well, thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.